Well, welcome everyone to tonight's frequency meditation. Good to have everyone here tonight. We're going to move into a very direct frequency space together tonight. And before we do, I just want to give you a clear sense of what this transmission actually opens up for you. This meditation is going to show you the moment creation begins, long before anything physical appears. And how the field organizes itself through your very coherence. This is probably the most precise technology in how to manifest. There's a lot of stuff out there on manifestation. It's all great. Um, but from my own experience, these technologies, it's a different ball game altogether. Because it's wrapped around coherence. It's not wrapped around vision boards or intention or anything to do with trying to persuade the universe, your higher self, whatever that might be, to change your life. It's all about you coming into that space where you're so centered, you're so coherent, you're so in harmony with these clearer frequencies, and that you then start to understand, you receive the awareness on how to create before density. So when coherence strengthens, that's what we're doing here today, awareness will expand beyond the visible sequence of events. Our five physical senses, we really don't believe anything is true unless we experience it through the five physical senses. But you're going to start noticing that life isn't responding to your actions. It's actually responding to your frequency architecture. You're just not aware of it yet. So the unseen begins arranging before anything moves here on the surface in density. And this isn't imagination. It's the natural intelligence of the field working ahead of time. And the more precise your orientation, the faster the field responds. Nothing's ever been denied to us. It's not like your higher self is keeping things away because you don't deserve it, because you're not a good enough person, you're not doing enough charity work. It doesn't work like that at all. There's zero subjectivity into it. There's no judgment. It's all about coming into the place where you're coherent enough, where you're stable enough, you can sustain yourself in that space. And that's when you receive whatever awareness is needed in the space you're in. And it's an infinite process. We never arrive, we never graduate. So it's quite simply futile to, if you like, the law of attraction. If you put your mindset on something and you visualize it and you see it before you, well, that sounds good. But if you're not clear enough, if you're not coherent enough, what you are going to manifest, and I'm sure you have experience of it, certainly the world has given enough experience, testimonies, is you might achieve whatever it is that you've set your mind through, but the outcome is never going to be one of fulfillment, completion, harmony. It's an amplifier. So if you're managing to try and manifest something out of coherence, that is what the result is going to be. But when you're coherent and you create, manifest, it's not about intention, it's about being in that frequency. That's when you receive, and it only benefits who you are, the center of who you are, the definition of who you are, and whatever material things on the outside or a relationship, that's going to bring a completion for you. So just take a little breath in right now. So creation doesn't start when you take action. We are, we have been programmed to be these doers, always doing, doing, doing. And if we don't do, there's this sense of we don't know who we are. There's no purpose. There's no definition. But again, creation doesn't start when you take action. It starts in the invisible patterning that happens first. And tonight, we're going to bring in that awareness. You're going to begin to recognize those patterns as they form. We're going to bring you right into the center of your sphere, the point where alignment becomes effortless and where the unseen begins organizing around you. And from that center, the movement of your system becomes very clean. You're not forcing anything. You're simply matching the frequency that's already shaping your next experience. And everything physical follows that instruction. We tend to put the cart before the horse. Density, this physical environment around you, if your eyes are closed right now, open your eyes and just look around you. Everything around you, you have created. Whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, this is the environment you have given direct instructions to create in density. So what if, instead of looking around going like, oh, that's my environment? Well, I don't think I really wanted to have that in it, and that toxic relationship, and this lack of money. So what if you could get the awareness how everything physical follows your instructions now? And that's where we're heading tonight, into the mechanics of how the field moves first, how coherence builds before the moment arrives, and how your system translates that into timing, opportunities, direction. I always say, we spend so much time here trying to fix, heal, transform something that's already been created in density. Once it's here, it's very clunky, it's very inefficient to try and change matter. What is far more precise, what is effortless once you navigate there, is creating density before it comes here. And that's the instruction we're going to bring awareness for you tonight. So from the center of your sphere right now is that place in the center point in your brain. Just come into that. Just resting, just coming really right into our body right now. And from our center of our sphere, awareness just expands softly outwards, feeling your frequency field around you. It's arm's length around you. For those of you new, if you go to the app, there's lots of complimentary meditations that can give you the background on the science we do here. What I do is not spiritual, it's not religious. It's quantum physics, subquantum physics. Whatever story you wish to attach to it is your free will. And if, for instance, you've been brought up as a Catholic and you are into Catholicism, you resonate with it, that's fantastic. This will just bring the pure meaning of what it is. And your frequency field is what holds all that. Just notice maybe that the body is starting to relax into its own gravity, presence, just settling into that steady pulse. That pulse that holds all creation. When we come into our sphere, we're stabilizing our body. Which brings the awareness to us. But before we come to our sphere, I would suggest just focus on the breath. The breath is what really regulates the body, brings you here right now, in the only place that's real. The only place that's real is this physical form that you're in. There are other places that are real. But what we do here at the Space-Time Method, it's all about how to create the best you, create the best life, so you can be that expression of your timeless self here in density. I'm not very interested in knowing all the secrets of the universe. I already know them, so do you. But that's not what the gig is about. The gig is about being in physical form and seeing how we can merge the timeless self with the time-bound self. So just take another breath in right now and just coming into your breath, noticing how it can regulate your body, how it stabilizes it. And then from there, we go to the center of our sphere again. And that sphere in our brain, and that sphere now, we're moving down, just gently down through the spine, till we get to our heart. And it's our heart, there's another sphere. You could refer to it as the architectural sphere. You could refer to it as your blueprint sphere. And this is where we position in the 6 directions, bringing them all into one place. Forward, backwards, side to side, up and down, all centered. And this is then where we receive awareness, transmission, without distortion. As we're here, your attention stabilizes. What happens in the background that you're not aware of just yet? And a subtle organization begins in the space around you. You can kind of think of it as a fate orchestration of geometry and time. It's the field, your field, and it always moves first. Matter, what's happening in the environment outside, thought, emotion, and even sequence, they all arrive afterwards. That's why this is such a precise place to be. And the more you observe this, you'll start to notice the more the need for control dissolves. Coherence becomes your new navigation. Your field arranges through resonance, matching the exact tone you hold. There's no planning or force here. There's only precision and stillness. And the unseen begins aligning every variable, location, people, timing, possibility, with a very sophisticated, quiet, mathematical intelligence. So let's just remain in this space of awareness right now. We're centered in our sphere in our brain. We're centered in our, if you like, blueprint sphere. And let the field rearrange without you needing the control to understand everything. Just taking a nice breath in right now, noticing your spheres. That's all you have to do. Just by coming into this position. And what's wonderful is that we've been given precise mechanics on how to come here. It's not wishful thinking or how good you can be as a person or anything like that. It's all just mechanics of being in the center of your sphere in your brain, coming down to the heart area through the spine, centering up the 6 directions to one place, position. The field is aligning itself right now as you do this. Just remain in this expanded awareness right now. Again, resisting the temptation to try and figure out what's going on behind the scenes. You never will. Not to say you won't receive the awareness, but to try and figure it out, impossible. Because it's in a rule set that you haven't stabilized in yet. But once you've stabilized by doing these movements, more will be revealed. And that's why creation is happening even before the moment arrives. And right now, you're observing the earliest formation of it. We come from everything all at once. I'm going through the deselection process to define yourself, your sex, time that you were born into, your culture, all of your personal attributes. So we've come from everything all at once into this defined position of ourselves. And every potential exists at once. That's where we came from. That's what we have access to. But only the ones that matches your coherence moves towards this physical expression. Well, it's quite pointless if you haven't shifted at a frequency level to keep being on that hamster wheel in density. The outcome will always be the same. It might be a different flavor, but it'll always be the same. That's why the field begins sculpturing itself according to your pure blueprint. Each pulse of alignment is an instruction. It's setting matter and timing into position. Sometimes we refer to it, the mind refers to it as coincidence. That coincidence in daily life is just simple geometry fulfilling resonance. It's not as random as we might think. So just taking a deep breath in right now, bringing it right through your lungs, through your spine, all the way up to your sphere in your head. Just stay there. Just let as your awareness stays clear, you'll start to notice the pattern becomes simpler. What felt complex starts to resolve into ease. It's less noisy. Notice how you're feeling right now. And it's from here, this position, that's when relationships, timing, opportunities, all of it shifts into its correct place when viewed from coherence. Nothing is forced here. no effort. There's no figuring out. Precision arises because your system is unified around this original design. In other words, we got out of the way with this endless chatter within, the mind constantly needing to control, analyze, synthesize. And that's great if the mind is in the space, in the frequency field of where there is this precision. But most people in a high 99.9% are not in that position. They're fragmented. They have multiple timelines running at once. They're not coherent. So the transmission they receive from their timeless self is distorted through their filters. But when you come into position, as right now, the mind quietens. So just let the sense of time loosen. As we move into a pause here, it's not a pause by any means, a lot's going on behind the scenes. So you start to perceive how coherence reorders timing itself. This is when you start to hear about people who can bend time. So we let the field coherence expand beyond the perception of our time that we hold. Just stay here right now. Maybe you start to notice how time bends around alignment. When your field moves first, outcomes accelerate without any effort or strain. What once required planning just begins to materialize through synchronization. Sitting in the center of your sphere aligns you with that acceleration. Again, it's not a thought process. Coherence starts to become speed, not rush speed, but it's more inevitability. Just let your breath lengthen on its own as the movement activates. Center of our sphere, energy spirals down through your system, through the spine, noticing the heart, that sphere there, your pure blueprint. Continuing down, just letting gravity drop you into the core of the earth, tuning into these pure frequencies. The earth, we have access to it, it's the same density that we're in. And then just let it rise up again through the spine. When it's returning upwards, it carries information from the unseen into your physical reality. This is how an idea becomes a meeting, how a thought becomes an opening, how presence becomes opportunity. This is the mechanics behind it. The body translates the unseen into action. As mentioned, we're so focused on the seen, the 5 physical senses. That's the last phase. So let's step into this space where the unseen begins translating directly into the physical. impulse. You're staying in your sphere. You can run the movement. Every time we run the movement, we're receiving new data. And see what comes to you. When your mind wanders, just come back to your sphere. What will happen as time goes on? You'll start to auto-correct much faster. You'll receive the awareness, oh, I'm not in center. And then you just simply come back. Easy. What's not easy is not having that awareness. So we go down those rabbit holes. How far do we need to go before we're like, I better go back to center? As time goes on, you'll receive that immediately, that you're off. Or you just come back. Taking a breath in. Here you may start noticing that stillness and action are the same movement, just viewed at different speeds. When you're centered, your perception slows, and the architecture becomes visible for you. Every small impulse in your day follows a design that's already formed in the field. So reality is not responding to you. Reality is completing instructions already issued through your field, through frequency. And as you slow, the perception slows down. It's like those frames in a movie, how every frame, you put them together, you run them, there's motion. So what we do here, what we're doing now, is we're slowing down those frames, the gap in between each frame. It's like an eagle. An eagle can sense things at a very high speed, much faster than humans. Because it's not that they can comprehend the speed of motion. What eagles do is they slow down the segments between each clip. That's what we're doing. As you practice and as you become more coherent, you start to have some mastery over this. You start to, at will, slow down this moment until you can understand what's happening. That's when precision becomes your natural way. You act only when the movement inside has completed its arc. You speak when the field has already arranged the conversation. And you start to get that deep knowing inside that life is actually orchestrated rather than uncertain. And you start to trust the invisible sequence that precedes every moment. Don't be discouraged if you can't right now. This is a new language. It's the language. So we're not going to learn it in a weekend. Nor do we want to. It's the process of having these things revealed to us, the mechanics. That's the whole joy of our existence here. So don't get discouraged just by practicing. The practice itself is the great game that we're doing. The practice itself is incredibly fulfilling, expansive. So before we pause here, when we're in our pauses, that's when the transmission's happening. I don't have to speak, I can really focus. Allow yourself to see your current life as a delayed reflection of earlier frequencies. Again, everything around you right now, if your eyes are closed, open up. Your eyes, look around your environment. Everything here is a result, is a consequence of a delayed reflection of earlier frequencies. What's beautiful about this? We can change this instantly. Taking another breath in right now. We're not in a rush. And another breath in. So everything around you is a residue of past coherence levels. Your environment is a physical echo of earlier states of alignment. And what most people do is they just repeat. They're on a loop. But we don't need to do that. And as your frequency updates here, your visible world follows. So the key is noticing the moment. Your field begins to move, that quiet pull before any event. Acting from that recognition produces effortless precision for you. And this is where you shift from reacting to orchestrating. Coherence leads, and sequence follows. Returning to the center of our sphere so your system can really register this updated alignment fully. We've worked on the back end. As always, we always work on the back end, frequency. And then you'll start to receive this awareness. Just observe the mind as it comes in. Notice any resistance. It's quite disruptive to understand that it's not your effort, it's not the control, the needing to know how everything works to create here. In fact, it's about becoming coherent and letting your frequency field lead. And then stay centered as the movement continues through your spine and field. You can activate this at any time. Sorry, that's not the correct word. You can become aware of this movement at any time just by simply putting your attention on the middle of your sphere, running the movement down the spine, noticing the heart sphere, the blueprint sphere, turning to the core of the earth, coming back up with this new data for you, up the spine to your sphere, resting here. For those of you who can, you might feel a gentle pull back up, having access to different realms. Wherever you are on the journey, doesn't really matter. As you stay centered, and as this movement continues, the architecture of your reality is already adjusted to match this frequency. What will appear in the coming days is simply the physical translation of what shaped itself here. There's no waiting. Your field has already completed the arrangement just for this one session. So now you're walking into the echo of your own coherence. As you have free will, you can also step out of this coherence at any time. But that's why practice, discipline, commitment, these are all pillars of ascension. It's not some woo-woo subjective, oh, a spirit guide has come in and now I'm sitting next to Jesus, right? Or whatever that might happen. It's very precise. It's very objective. It's available for everyone who's willing to commit, who's willing to practice, be disciplined, just like learning any language. But this is, as I mentioned, the language. So as we end here, don't be discouraged, but instead excited. You've received the technology on how to create. And now the evidence will come the more we practice. It's a game changer. I know it has been for me. And there's much, much more to come. So with that, I'll leave everybody here. I hope you have a really beautiful week. We're getting ready for our informal event in Hawaii the first week of December. We're going to close registration, I think, today or tomorrow. And I really look forward to that. And I'll see you all next week.